what's up? So, I know there are a lot of articles and a lot of videos out there already about this topic, but I'm still gonna add one more in there because turns out there isn't enough of it out there, because there is still a lot of misconception, a lot of judgment, a lot of mockery, and again, a lot of misconception, especially when people confuse asexuality as, celibacy. It is not the same thing. Celibacy is a choice. Asexuality is a sexual orientation like any other sexual orientation. Okay, now imagine a sexuality line, right? On one end, there are the sexual people, right? The people who are sexually attracted to other people. So people under this are more known and more aware by the society by this point. I mean, still there is a lot of awareness still to happen, but let's face it, it's a better situation right now than what it was a few years back. But on the other end of this line is the asexuality people, the asexuality spectrum, the asexuality community. The entire umbrella is still not understood by a lot of people. And it's the lack of awareness, the lack of people actually talking about it, and also the misconception, a lot of misconception and misjudgment, and especially from within the LGBTQ plus community. And that is what is so difficult, because it's just not accepted as well within the community itself. There are people who do it, there are people who accept it and understand it and are sensitive about it, but I have come across so many who are not understanding and who are so insensitive about it within the community itself. So, sure, this is a video for awareness to those kind of people, but also this is a video that could also act as a beacon or a sort of safe zone for people who are like me. Now, we're just gonna wait for that clock to just happen. I think it's done. So, right, so most of my life I have felt very broken, I guess, because girls around me, they were having these conversations about how a certain guy is hot or a certain girl is hot, like just, having such kind of conversations, and I didn't feel that. And I always thought that I was just, old-fashioned, or I don't judge people by their looks or something like that. But let's face it, looks do matter, right? I'm not saying that good looks or bad looks or whatever. I'm saying like you have a type, right? A type of looks, like you like. Let's not get into that. So yeah, I didn't feel the same way or felt part of the conversations. I used to always just nod my head and be like, yeah, right, he is. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying. And I was like, maybe when I'm older, I'll understand it, I'll feel it more. And I got older, and I didn't. And in fact, things changed a lot more as I got older, because people became more, like the girls around me became more sexual. And, they used to talk about this, like, oh, how they would like to kiss that guy and stuff like that. And I'd be like, I've never felt that. And it used to bother me a lot, because I used to be like, okay, there will be a point in my life where I have to feel that. Like, when I start dating a person, I'd have to be like, oh, eventually I have to have sex with that person, right? Or kiss that person at the least. Or at least hug that person. So I used to be constantly worried about that part of a relationship, like, oh, that is coming, and I wasn't looking forward to it, and it used to scare me a little, and I was like, oh my god, what's wrong with me? And every time I used to be like, oh, at some point I have to come around this topic, and I thought it was just me being shy about it, or just old-fashioned about it in general, but turns out I am not, and that was a relief to feel, because I was forcing all these feelings inside me that to awaken something inside me, but I was trying to do something that I am not, and that's not something that anybody has to go through. It is like expecting a person who is gay to date somebody's, to expecting a person who's gay to pretend that they're straight. Like, you cannot, that is something that one shouldn't go through, okay? And this is not just about sexuality, just about anything. Like, if you like long hair, but somebody's forcing you to be in short hair like me, that is not something you have to go through, right? Articles and videos like these are something that really, really helped me understand myself and figure myself out. And I am really thankful to those things, and this is my way of giving back to that. This is my way of thanking those people. Also, that's pretty much it. I don't know where I was going with that. So let's just begin with the video. Okay, let's just begin with it. So what is asexuality? Like, for people who don't know what that is, for like the past 6 minutes I've been blabbering about it and they have no idea and they're just so lost. So asexuality is when an individual is not attracted to a gender or any person, right? So you see a person and you're sexually attracted to that person. You may not necessarily be romantically attracted or, interested in dating that person on an intellectual level or in any sort of sense, but you're still sort of sexually attracted to them. But for an asexual person, they are not. I'm just gonna go with it. I was actually thinking of pausing and restarting this whole thing, but no, I'm just gonna go with it. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So, basically, asexuality is a sexuality because it is still a form of sexuality, even though it just means that there is a lack of sexual attraction, but it has nothing to do with sexuality itself. That a person can still feel sexual, but just not sexually attracted, if you know what I mean. So this brings us to the next phase. Like, do asexuals like sex? And yes, they do. Well, not all of them. Some of them do. A lot of asexuals are sex repulsed. Some of asexuals do actually like sex, and that they do have sex. It's just that they are not sexually attracted, but they do still enjoy it. And so that is something you have to talk to your partner. If they're asexual, you have to just talk to them and understand this. You need to have a conversation, a dialogue about this. You just need to ask them what is their preference, I guess. What are they comfortable with? Now, I know some asexuals who still enjoy sex, but I, for myself, don't actually. I don't think I do. I've never been in that situation, so I don't know. But I believe I don't. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have it. Nope, not at all. And there are a lot of people like me out there, and it is not something that you should be ashamed about. It's just like how you shouldn't be ashamed about being attracted to the same gender. So that brings me to the next phase of the situation, is do asexuals fall in love? Do they date? And blah blah blah. And yes, they do. Asexuals don't necessarily have to be aromantic, right? So aromantic are people who are not romantically attracted to other people, but asexuals don't have to necessarily mean aromantics. They are still romantically attracted to other genders, so they can be either attracted to their same gender, they can be attracted to their opposite gender, or any gender. So that is heteroromantic, homoromantic, panromantic, or biromantic. So again, you just have to ask the person, right, who you're dating, like, or who you want to date. Like, are you into girls or are you into boys? Like, you just have to ask them this. So yes, they do date. They do look for a romantic connection. Like, for example, I really do want to date somebody. I do want to be in a relationship with somebody. I do want to fall in love with somebody. As exhausting as it sounds, I do. But I still don't want to have sex with them. Now, again, there are more aspects to asexuality. So asexual is a very umbrella term. So under asexuality, there are obviously the asexuals who are not at all sexually attracted to any gender, but there are also the demisexuals who are sexually attracted to a person after having a very strong romantic relationship with them, like a really strong romantic bond with them, and then they might feel this splurge of sexual attraction for them. I don't know how it works. But then there are the gray sexuals, who feel sexual attractions on very rare occasions, or again after deep romantic connections. But again, it's not very common for them. It's very rare for them. I think I covered that part, right? Am I making any sense at this point? Like, am I actually spreading any sort of awareness, or am I just confusing the whole situation further? I don't know. Okay. So yes, we do date. We love dating. Well, not all of them, but most of them. You just have to ask, I guess. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any further questions, you feel free to ask. Again, asexuals don't necessarily mean that they don't like sex. And it is definitely not celibacy. Celibacy can be for a person who still likes sex, who is still attracted, sexually attracted to somebody, but still chooses to not have sex. Whereas asexuals are not sexually attracted to anybody, and many a times don't want to have sex because they don't feel, the need for it. So it's not the same as a choice. It's about this. How do I say it? Like, how do you put it into words? How do you put such things into words? Is this what it is? Like, wow, I am doing a really awful job at this. And this is why I stick to writing. Because I can just go back and cut. And I can cut in this too, but I'm too lazy for that. I'm just going to upload it as it is, and you guys can ask me whatever you want to ask me in the comment section if I was too confusing, which I am sure I was. Okay, the clock is going to ting again, and it's going to be longer this time because it's going to be this 12 o'clock ting, and we did not want that. Okay, I hope I was in some sense helpful. And if I wasn't, then I am so sorry, because this is what you get from me. But yes, do feel free to ask questions. I really, really encourage that with whoever is around me who's confused about this and who don't understand this. Just don't pass judgments or insensitive comments, or just be rude, you can ask questions in curiosity and genuine need for understanding, but don't be rude about it, and just don't do that. It's just not nice. Okay, yeah, thanks, bye bye.